percentage and walks. And again, still just one home run away from becoming just the 5th player in D1 history to hit 20 homers and win 20 games in the circle in a single season. She has reached 7 times in this regional, 4 hits and 3 walks.
She's been really patient at the plate. The only time she showed some aggressiveness was what could have potentially been her last at bat last night. You could tell she was going up with a big swing, trying to make things happen. But the senior really has had really good plate discipline.
That is a home run swing there from the former Oregon Duck. Transferred over a couple of years ago to North Florida. Even without visiting the campus, hit it off over the phone with Jeff Conrad, another Midwest native from Chicago, Benning from Minnesota. They connected, and she watches that one sail across the strike zone for strike 2. Well, Sam Gress got the start against this North Florida team yesterday in 4 2/3. Didn't give up a run, did give up 6 hits to go with 4 strikeouts and 3 walks.
As we mentioned, she defined it as gritty, and she was tough when it mattered most.
Swing and a miss. Here's the throw down to second. Brock is safe after Gress gets the strikeout of Benning.
Well, Benning goes down, chasing a changeup. That's been the one weakness we have seen against Benning here in the regional, the off-speed pitch. Gress delivers this low and out of the zone. But that off-speed gave Brock a couple extra steps on the stolen base. A nice slide, making sure she gets wide of the tag.
And Kat, almost nobody runs on South Carolina. Heading into the regional, they had only allowed 14 stolen bases all year. That is the 3rd fewest in the SEC, but Brock is safe over there with a big smile on her face on her birthday. And now North Florida with a runner in scoring position.
Challenging the safe call at second base. The call is under further review.
The early challenge by Ashley Chastain-Woodard.
Well, challenging because now there's a runner in scoring position, and Chloe Culp, as we mentioned, coming up, who's batting .500. But I do think Brock is safe here. She's wide of the tag.
Let's make sure she stays on the base.
There she's on the base.
Right hand,
yeah,
left hand.
I think she's safe. Both bat, even when the
right hand, left leg.
Yeah. So there, left hand's on, right hand's on, left hand stays on as the right hand. I think she stayed on the base.
A little game of twister over there. She appears to be safe. For North Florida, this was their first regional in program history. They've picked up their first victories in a regional in program history, and as we said earlier, now in their first regional final, having a magical year. And South Carolina, by the way, having quite a season of their own for the Gamecocks. Remember, they were picked to come in dead last in the SEC. They're a top 8 seed for the first time in program history, and hoping to make it to a super for the first time in 7 years. Quite the seasons for both of these programs, Kat.
Well, yeah, if you would have said in February that this is how how regionals was going to set up, I don't know that anybody in the softball world would have been like, yes, you're 100% right. But at last, here we are, and it's been exciting to watch both these programs grow over the season.
After further review, the call has been upheld at second base. This is South Carolina's first challenge.
Celebration by Brock after the announcement from Scott Mayer. The runner remains in scoring position. Well, here comes Chloe Culp, the 6th-year senior who walked it off last night, one of her 3 hits in the game. And almost as stunning as that moment was our post-game interview with her when we asked her about this dramatic ending to the game, biggest win in program history. We were building it up. She said, yeah, I wasn't really thinking about it. I knew it'd be maybe one of my last hits ever at the college level. You know, just went up there and swung. Yeah, just carefree, and it paid off.
Well, you could tell she just is trying not to think too much, and that was essentially what she was trying to say. But Sam Gress able to jam her up there. But that free mentality, I truly believe, is why the Ospreys are in this position. They're not putting more pressure on themselves because they're in a regional or because they've advanced after game 1 of a regional. Don't really think they were putting pressure on themselves because they were facing elimination. They just continued to play North Florida softball.
2 away for Kirsten Karavaka in the cleanup spot. She drove in the game-winning run in Friday's victory over Virginia. 350 hitter on the
pitcher of record on the loss to South Carolina yesterday, but she mixes really good locations. We've seen her go in, out, up a little bit, but her changeup, it is a high chase rate. It is a pitch that makes her so tough to time up. The senior looked more poised on Saturday than we saw on Friday, looking to bring that here against the Gamecocks for the 2nd time.
And let's take a look at South Carolina's starting lineup, brought to you by Capital One. It's led by Ariana Rodi in the 3 spot. She reached 3 times yesterday against this North Florida team.
Well, Ariana Rodi just been consistent for the Gamecocks all year. Their biggest power threat, their most consistent run producer. 3 spot is where she thrives, and South Carolina going to try to set the table ahead of her.
Delivered ball 1 to Quincy Lelio, the junior transfer from Oklahoma, leading the Gamecocks with a .364 average this year. In yesterday's outing against this South Carolina team, Benning went 5 2/3, 3 runs allowed, 2 strikeouts, and 4 walks. Lifted to left. Shaw Rocky is there. One away for Carly Shelton, a sophomore at a Lexington who led the SEC in doubles this year, but it's been her defense this weekend that has been absolutely phenomenal.
I think a game without Carly Shelton making a diving grab in the 3-4 hole is, I don't know, like your lemonade without ice or something that's
wrong.
Common. Yeah.
She has been spectacular at second. A few full extension plays over the first few days. And Benning has fallen behind to the first 2 batters, but that's something we saw through the first couple of days of the regional. Shelton rips one. That'll be just foul.
Shelton got around that one well, but whew, probably about a foot and a half. Pitch up in the zone. You can tell she's ready for it, but it is just on the other side of that line.
Again, 18 doubles on the season, most in the SEC. Well, before that swing, I was going to ask you how much of an advantage is it now for South Carolina knowing they have faced Benning already this weekend?
It's an advantage on her hard stuff, so you know what locations when she throws hard that she hits more consistently. But when you're talking about that changeup that just has some sporadic movement, it can drop off late as to the 1-2 pitches ago to Carly Shelton. That's hard to plan against. So you have to really have the plan of attacking hard and almost just kind of letting the changeup go, but then with 2 strikes, you got to just shorten up in battle, because that's when Benning will bring out that changeup. And as I said, the movement on it is almost unpredictable.
Drifting into foul territory is Karavaka, 2 away. So Benning threw 107 pitches in one outing this weekend and 110 in the other. They were still able to pull off the victory over Virginia last night without her having to pitch. Two away for Ariana Rhodey. Rhodey has 3 home runs in her last 4 games. And a couple of home runs against Alabama in the SEC tournament. And as her head coach Ashley Chastain Woodard put it, that's just Rhodey being Rhodey.
Well, she has really good plate discipline, and that's probably the biggest thing that has increased this year, is her ability to internally celebrate when she takes good balls. There are times as a good hitter you chase pitches because you think you can hit it, but she has celebrated even in batting practice. Will end a round if she takes a good ball and she's happy with it.
Takes one there. Rhodey, one of 6 transfers from Charlotte who came over with Ashley Chastain Woodard when she left the 49ers for the Gamecocks. Rhodey hit 22 homers last year for Charlotte, 5th most in the country. Again, 17 this year.
The consistency is impressive when you talk about Rhodey transferring over from the athletic conference, or the American Athletic Conference, to the SEC.
That one drew some oohs and ahs off the bat before it handled nicely by Blankenship. The South Carolina defense had the 2nd best fielding percentage in the SEC this year. They have played error-free ball so far this weekend.
A part of their defensive success is Brooke Blankenship, a shortstop that prior to this year known mainly for her defensive prowess.
Off speed.
Yeah, her and Carly Shelton team up the middle to be one of the best infield duos in the country.
Pitching and defense has gotten them this far. And a top 8 seed with 42 wins. And again, there's Blankenship.
Right now, the combination of that off-speed pitch from Gress and then going up and in, it's working against the Ospreys as she's continuing to change speeds but then jam them, and it's going to be up to the Ospreys to figure out how to get to that inside pitch here early against Sam Gress.
Well, look who's up at the plate, Mackenzie Woods, who delivered that dramatic game-tying home run. And last night, to knot things up at 5, the 7, 8, and 9 hitters were hitless before that homer. They are 1 for 23 this weekend. Woods helping to save the season last night. Again, they were down to their last 6 outs of the year. And she helped to complete that incredible comeback.
When you're facing your last 6 outs, the top of the lineup gets on 3 infield singles. So it didn't even leave the infield. They were able to score 2. A sac fly puts them within 1. And then, as you mentioned, first pitch of the at-bat with 3 outs remaining. And Woods, an absolute no-doubter.
Remember, she got banged up earlier in the game. Had to play 2 games yesterday. At one point, was trying to grab a foul ball behind the dish. Collided with the wall. Was down for a while, clutching her left knee. And managed to stay in the game. 1-2 on the way from Gress. Chopped over to third, handled by Chansey. A 1-2-3.
Up in case they needed her, in case that game went to extra innings. But the senior might have been the first one out on the field, jumping and throwing things as Brock scored.
This is pitch number 232 of the regional for Benning. 25-6 on the year. And over the last 2 seasons alone, nearly 400 strikeouts. And the key for her, not only to try and help take down the Gamecocks, but also try to work efficiently on top of that, because she did pitch their first game yesterday, threw over 100 pitches, was not able to take the circle for the nightcap, but they still managed to pull out the victory. Again, North Florida would have to win twice today to advance.
Well, you talk about efficiency, and while that's normally a key for most pitchers, Allison Benning, her efficiency hasn't really hurt her. 17 for 52 in the regional for first pitch strikes, yet is 1-1 and has only given up 3 earned runs. And in the first inning alone here, all 3 at-bats was first pitch balls, but yet she was able to retire them with easy fly balls. So while efficiency is key for most, it hasn't hurt Allison Benning to go deep in the count or be behind, and part of the reason of that is her changeup and the ability to locate that in the zone.
2-2 on the way from Benning. Full count coming up. Lexi Winters, cleanup hitter. Second on the team in RBIs this year with 46. And there is a free pass issued. First base runner of the day for South Carolina. The winner's over at first. That'll bring up Ella Chansey, the senior third baseman. One of the many transfers from Charlotte, who's been second on the team in doubles this year. And she's just been a terrific hitter throughout her career. Hit at least 300 or better in 3 of her 4 seasons.
3 pitches down in the dirt. Woods calling time to jump out there, settle Benning down a little bit. And you see that a lot. Benning is very receptive to her teammates coming in, slowing the game down just a little bit, talking to her. If it's not Woods, we've seen both Caravaca and Reichert over at third base come in and chat with her. In fact, there have been moments where she asks the catcher to throw the ball back to Reichert, and they do a little high five before she works again.
Now a 2-0 count. Chansey, a couple of home runs on the season. And there's a strike from Benning. Benning, the ASUN Player of the Year, Pitcher of the Year, Scholar Athlete of the Year as well. The first ASUN player ever to accomplish that. Chansey, and Brewman was there as that one died down for out number 1. Oh, and by the way, Benning also the ASUN Tournament MVP.
I was about to say, and?
A lot of hardware.
She definitely cleaned up this year, and as we talked to Jeff Conrad earlier in this regional, he said it's exciting for the program to be here, but he was really glad they got here so the world could see who and what Allison Benning is. And while we haven't gotten to witness the power and home run number 20 yet, it's been fun to see her in the circle and competing with her team.
Just a terrific two-way player. It's kind of come back in vogue a little bit over the last few years. Nyjah Kennedy preferring to hit full time again. Same with Jordy Ball. Ball, by the way, this weekend became the 4th player on that list. Benning is trying to get on 20 homers and 20 wins in a single season.
It's such a difficult thing to do, to be able to balance being an elite pitcher and an elite hitter. Especially during 8-hour weeks, requires you to usually do one or the other on your own time.
Blankenship up the middle on the run. McCarthy showing off her speed. We have seen her tracking everything in her vicinity in center field all weekend long.
Well, McCarthy's speed is absolutely incredible. This is just closing speed coming in. We've seen her show it going back, covering the gaps That one coming in impressive.
2 away now, runner still on first for Abigail Knight, 6th-year senior. South Carolina's only had to score in 3 total innings this weekend to win their games. Their pitching and defense has done the rest.
Coming into today, South Carolina just hitting 200 in this regional.
Knight has reached twice, that one foul. One, two with 1 on and 2 away here in the second. Roped foul the other way. Well, for Knight, started off her career at Boston College, spent 4 seasons there, wanted to head back to her home state of North Carolina, so she did, transferring to Charlotte to play for Ashley Chastain Woodard, and then followed her here to Columbia for one last go-round. Fights another one off.
South Carolina starting to work Benning a little bit, and I feel like I hear their assistant coach calling the check.
How many pitches did you throw in one day?
Not 283, I don't think.
Addison Bruneman at the plate as we begin the 3rd inning. Sam Gress gave up a leadoff single, and that is all. But you were telling me yesterday that when you throw that many pitches, it's not necessarily your arm that's sore.
Well, yeah, your legs get tired. So the most of a pitcher's power comes from their lower half. And just think of it, watching these pitchers, some of them go down into a lunge before kind of position before they throw. And even if you don't, you're still driving out and pushing hard with your legs. So your legs will actually get tired before your arm does. Occasionally you'll see a pitcher that has, you know, hand or forearm cramp up as well. But when you think about it and people are like, oh, your shoulder, it's more your legs than anything.
Sam Gress thought she was going to get that call and said it's a 2-1 count now to Addison Bruneman. And there's the second hit of the contest for North Florida. Well, the 7, 8, 9 hitters were 0 for 20 at one point, but one of them came up with a home run last night. And here's Bruneman in the 8th spot with a single.
The first hit of the regional for Bruneman. A great job on that inside pitch. We talked about it last inning with North Florida up, that they were going to have to adjust to the arm side of Sam Gress. Bruneman, a good job with that pitch through the 5-6 hole.
Now in the 9th spot, the speedy center fielder, Kaylin McCarthy, drops down the bunt, charging in his Chansey. And the runner advances to second as McCarthy's thrown out. So for the second time in the first 3 innings, there will be a runner in scoring position for the Ospreys. Back up to the top of the order, Lauren Brock, who led off the game with a single, stranded at second.
Well, the second scoring opportunity here for North Florida. And they're looking to score for the first time against an SEC team this season. 4 opportunities earlier against Florida, Arkansas, and obviously the first game against South Carolina here, but they have been scoreless.
Chansey over to first. They will have a runner at third with 2 away. They had 9 base runners yesterday against this South Carolina team. Couldn't bring one home. Here's another opportunity with Brock. Getting some words of wisdom from Jeff Conrad, and Allison Benning coming up to the plate. Now, we saw her get walked in a big situation last night. Would you consider it here?
You could consider it. They have been able to handle Benning with the changeup so far. So if they're going to work off speed, but at the same time, wouldn't be a bad situation to walk Benning with 2 outs. It does allow your defense to play back. You can get the force out at second if necessary, unless Jeff Conrad pinch runs for her.
Of course, if you're Chloe Culp, you're saying bring it on. It worked last night.
And again, you're talking about facing a 400 hitter for the season, a 500 hitter for the weekend. I mean, even Allison Benning, 571 coming in today on the weekend. So it's kind of pick your poison.
Benning reaching 7 times so far this weekend against Sam Gress yesterday. Benning did have a couple of singles. So we'll see what they opt to do here. On this season, Benning has driven in 50 runs with 19 homers and a cool .514 average this year with runners in scoring position. And it looks like they will opt to send her over to first.
You can tell they're practicing going way wide, so that way she can't even reach out and poke anything. This is where I wish, though, NCAA would adopt the international rule, and you could just say, hey, we want to put her on, not have to throw the 4 pitches. I know there's some disagreement because of wild pitches that happen during intentional walks, but I feel like it speeds the game up a little bit for someone just to say, hey, I want to put him on and let him go ahead and trot down to first.
Although it did a moment ago give the crowd a chance to start chanting, let her play. Sam Gress says, I don't think so. Not this time. And that will be her 4th walk of the regional. Her 74th walk of the season. That is the 10th most in a single season in NCAA history. And it will bring up Saturday night's hero. Here comes Chloe Culp with Benning over at first and Bruneman at third. Ooh, further there.
You can tell Sam Gress feeling better today, not just the outcomes against the Ospreys offense, but just the way she's kind of pacing around the circle, commanding the changeup. Senior definitely sharp on Sunday.
And quickly ahead, 0-2. Chloe Culp spent her first 3 years at Florida State, redshirting once. Two on, two away for Culp, facing an 0-2 count. Right to short, and South Carolina.
Asking about how they felt about hosting, and she said, you know, I knew we were going to be in the running, or we were going to host a regional. I knew the top 8 seed was close, and she's like, you usually want to pride yourself on being a good road team, but we're just better at home, so I'm glad we got that 8 seed. When you look at the stands today, you can see why they enjoy playing at home. A packed house full of Gamecock fans here to cheer them on to hopefully a super regional.
They've been extremely loud all weekend, right from the first game on Friday. Here is Emma Sellers, who came up with a big 2-run single against this North Florida team. Drops down the bunt, handled nicely by Mackenzie Woods for the out at first.
Well, Sellers trying to put this ball in play. Not sure that didn't hit her on her way out, but nonetheless, Mackenzie Woods with great job jumping out, making that defensive play.
Emily Vincent up in the 9 spot. Reichert. Again, it's not an offensively explosive South Carolina team this year, but they continually find ways to win. They score enough runs and get very strong pitching and defense.
Yeah, just a shade over 300 for the season, but as we mentioned, it's the on-base percentage. It's the ability to earn walks. 248 as a team, and force defenses to have to decide how they're going to play some of their hitters. When you talk to Chastain Woodard, she will give the nod to Katie Browder as to why this offense has been able to transform so quickly.
And a big part of that transfer is like Quincy Lilio, who goes ahead 2-0.
Well, Lilio is such a huge piece because she came over from Oklahoma, being on 2 championship rosters. That's just an experience you cannot replicate in any sense. And whether you are on the field every day or not during those seasons, you were soaking in everything that was going on. And obviously, Lilio wanting to put all of that to use, looking for a new home. And another nod to Coach Katie Browder was, she's the one that got Lilio. She was on the phone as soon as she was in the portal, convincing her to come to South Carolina.
He's been one of the best bats in the lineup. And now earns a 4-pitch walk with 2 outs. Second walk of the day from Benning. Yet to give up a hit. Had retired 5 in a row before that free pass. Here comes Carly Shelton, the sophomore. Shelton hitting nearly 350 this year. Into the wind off the bat of the Gamecocks. Wonder how much maybe the wind had to do with those dying down. There have been wind gusts up to 20 miles an hour throughout the weekend, blowing out to left field here at Beckham Field. 4, 5, and 6 hitters due up now for the Ospreys. Had a runner on second in the first inning. A runner on at third and first in the third. Have been unable to take advantage so far against Sam Gress. Gress in her 6th year of collegiate softball. Been around so long, she said her teammates call her Grandma. 24 years old. Grandma has come up big so far in this regional. Didn't give up a run yesterday in 4 2/3. Looking good so far today. And Shelton is there.
I'll say, when you're 23, 24 in that 5th, 6th year type of vibe, your body starts to feel a little bit like grandma, even though you're still young and vibrant and not really even close to your peak yet. But we'll say there are quite a few athletes that hang around past the 4-year mark that get that moniker.
She's been having a career year. When you talk about the clutch victories she's been in the circle for this season, she's beat Texas Tech twice, beat Alabama, Duke, LSU. She's been their go-to starter in big moments.
And as Coach Chastain Woodard said, the team feeds off Sam Gress. So while she's in the circle leading, she is also kind of the heartbeat, the person that drives it, the one that keeps everybody together.
Crowd not thrilled with that one.
I wouldn't be thrilled with that one. It's a changeup, almost right down the middle.
Not too high?
Maybe just a tad, but whew, that's close.
See how she follows that up. Another infield ground out. Rhodey is there to handle it, 2 away. You mentioned it earlier this weekend. Gress appears to just have that it factor out there.
Well, she does. You can tell she's just a competitor, and she's going to do whatever it takes. And we saw that yesterday. She got herself in a rundown, dove at the runner. I'm competitive as I'll get out, but I'm not getting in a rundown and running and diving at a runner. So that just shows she's going to do whatever it takes. kind of keep this team and the emotions of it high.
I mean, she was the first pitcher in South Carolina history to be named to the SEC All-Defensive Team. Turned a game-ending double play a few weeks ago in a win over Alabama. She goes all out. 1-0 on the way to Hadley Reichert. That one ripped past the diving Chansey. Reichert rounding first base, dug out of the corner by Vinson. And there is a 2-out double for the Ospreys, and Hadley Reichert, another runner in scoring position.
This pitch, a changeup, and it hung, and Reichert was ready for it. Right past Chansey, nicked off her glove. Nothing Chansey really could have done except for try to lay out for that one. Another runner in scoring position, though, for the Ospreys. 3 out of 4 innings now that they've had a runner in scoring position.
And when you look at Sam Gress's 2 outings combined against this North Florida squad, she's given up 9 hits and 4 walks, but it has not come back to hurt her.
She's been able to get out of it, and that's where you talk about the it factor, someone who can just settle in when the game is on the line, even if it's not the prettiest stat sheet.
Well, remember, North Florida yesterday had 9 base runners against the South Carolina team and just could not take advantage, hoping that trend is about to come to an end here. Sam Gress struck things off.
And when you have scoring opportunities, being able to take advantage of them early and often, it allows your pitcher to relax a little bit, not feel like every pitch of the game is going to be game-changing. For the Ospreys, they've had ample opportunities to go ahead and score runs. If you're going to double dip a team, you have to take control early and continue to hold on to that energy and momentum.
Allison Benning never seems to bother her falling behind 2-0, which we see a lot. That's just what she usually feels comfortable with, and battles right back.
I really have a feeling that not much phases Allison Benning in the circle. I do like her routine. You see her take a big, not just a breath, a big deep breath before every pitch to reset herself. Here, Rhodey and the fans both don't like those 2 changeup calls, and well, they finished a little low in the zone. Not sure where they caught the front part of the plate. Nice pitches, but
a lot of pitchers take a deep breath before facing Rhodey, who's set a new South Carolina single-season home run record this year. Awaits the 2-2. Swing and a miss, a huge strikeout of Rhodey. First of the day for Benning.
Well, Benning, after back-to-back changeups, goes outside, and this is not really close to the corner, but Rhodey seeing something hard and up, overly aggressive, stretching the plate. Big first out for Allison Benning.
Delivers strike 1 to Lexi Winters, who walked in the 2nd inning. Couple of walks, and that is all given up by Benning so far. Both of these pitchers, Benning and Gress, pitched extremely well yesterday. And there was some thought that both of these offenses, obviously now familiar with them, would break through, but neither has been able to yet.
Well, Benning now continuing to pound the outside part of the zone for strikes. We've seen her work in and the changeup, but using that curveball here in the 4th.
Back up the middle, snared by Benning. a big grin on her face afterwards. Enjoying herself out here in Columbia this weekend.
Well, you see here a shot right back at her on that changeup. As a pitcher, you don't see those. It's just reaction, and so the glove catches it. A lot of times you gotta just laugh it off, celebrate.
Said, look what I got. 2 away for Ella Chansey. Chansey, the veteran third baseman out of Athens, Georgia, playing in the 231st game of her career.
Coach Chastain Woodard not shy when she said, I don't know what I'm going to do next year. I don't know how I'm going to ride a lineup without Ella Chansey at third base. Proceeded to tell us that Chansey's going to stay on as a grad assistant. So she said, I'm going to make her do it because I don't think my hand can actually start to right third base and not right Ella Chansey.
Chansey coming over from Charlotte along with Winters, Rhodey, Knight as well. Said hitting's always been her favorite part of the game, but also admitted it's also the most frustrating part. So ultimately nothing compares to that feeling you get when you get a big hit, especially off a big time pitcher. Trying to do that right now. Rio. Batting up to 57 pitches, thrown more than 100 in each of her previous 2 outings this weekend. Chansey over to second. That one bobbled by Brock. And there is a 2-out base runner.
Well, this pitch low and on the outer half. Chansey does a good job with it. Hard ground ball, but definitely something Brock should handle. You see her going to her knee there instead of being able to stay behind and approach it. South Carolina. First base runner to reach without a free pass.
Here is Brooke Blankenship, senior out of Hudson, Florida. Florida State Seminole, transferred to South Carolina in 2023, and in her first season with the Gamecocks, led the team in batting average. 1-1. So now South Carolina has had a base runner on in each of the last 3 innings. Swing and a miss. Runner is going. The throw on to second. Not in time. And a runner in scoring position for the first time today for the Gamecocks.
Ella Chansey taking off and easily in there. 8th stolen base of the year for the third baseman.
Now this at-bat becomes even bigger for Blankenship. Just 1 homer on the year, but it was a dramatic one that ended the game against Virginia back in February.
Well, just 7 extra base hits off the bat of Brooke Blankenship.
Blankenship delivers to right field. Here comes comes Chansey home, the throw. No, South Carolina will jump in front. 1-0 here in the fourth.
Two outs the first time today. South Carolina has a runner in scoring position, and Blankenship delivers a line shot through the 3-4 hole. And a great throw by Culp, but Woods just unable to secure that one before trying to tag Chansey. And South Carolina's up 1-0.
And that hit also breaks up the no-hitter. Here's back-to-back hits, and it's going to be a 2-0 Gamecocks lead here in the regional final. Abigail Knight bringing home Brooke Blankenship. The towels are out at Beckham Field.
First pitch she sees, this ball over the heart of the plate, and Knight pulls that right down the right field line, giving Blankenship plenty of time to get around third and score. South Carolina just starting to be aggressive when they see balls over the white after the 2-out error. Allison Benning just not as sharp as she was, but South Carolina is starting to take the momentum.
Well, remember, I mean, really the inning should be over. Both of these runs unearned, but instead it continues. South Carolina another runner on. The last 3 batters have reached, and they will send a pinch runner out there as well. Nia McKnight, the freshman, takes over at first for Knight.
And that's why on the biggest stage, you have to do all the little things right. Have to be able to play clean defense. And remember, it was a defensive miscue yesterday that allowed South Carolina to score first 2. Allison Benning didn't back up the throw home, which allowed a runner from third to go ahead and score on the ball, passing Woods, again, coming from the outfield.
What have we been saying all weekend long? This time of year, the difference is pitching and defense.
Well, and then you don't have a pitcher that's averaging 8, 9 double-digit strikeouts a game, and really even 8 and 9. You have to have a solid defense behind them.
We talk about the bottom part of this order against North Florida this weekend. Today, it's been Blankenship and Knight driving in runs in the 6 and 7 spot. Yesterday, it was this batter, Emma Sellers, in the 8th spot in the order, driving in 2 against the Ospreys. He's going that one, thrown away into center field. And McKnight will stay over at second, her 5th stolen base of the season. Another runner in scoring position. The Gamecocks looking for more.
Well, McKnight, incredible speed, takes off, and Bruneman can handle the throw. The throw is actually on the bag. You see Woods there, frustrated that that got through. Remember, Bruneman, not their everyday shortstop. Just started filling in at shortstop about a month ago after spending most of the year working as a catcher for this club.
Now it goes 2 and 2. And now Benning on the verge of reaching 70 pitches on the day. Called strike 3 to end the inning. However, South Carolina.
But she'll also easily just get the easy ground outs and pop flies that her defense can handle. Throws with great velocity and allows that ball just to sweep into righties, away from away from righties into lefties. The biggest key is just controlling the zone. Throw it through the strike zone. Don't be afraid to let them swing and let your defense work.
Bird 18 and 3 on the season. And that one immediately handled off the bat of Addison Bruneman by Blankenship at short. And listen, if you're North Florida, obviously no time to panic. Their 2 wins this weekend both came after they were trailing. They were losing to Virginia 1-0 in their opening game of the regional, and they trailed the Cavaliers 5-1 late last night.
Yeah, you never count North Florida out of it. They continue to push the envelope and figure out how to get base runners on. The key right now is they've been able to get runners on. Can they get them in? So the big moments, who's going to be the person that steps up big and actually drives in that first run for the Ospreys?
This game so far has been almost identical to yesterday's meeting between these two teams. North Florida with a lot of runners left on base. A defensive miscue helping South Carolina break through in the middle to later innings. And now South Carolina with the infield shift on for Kaylin McCarthy.
Well, the shifts worked for them so far. We saw Virginia do a similar shift against both McCarthy and Brock. Brock was able to lift it over the shift though, but McCarthy has been using the ground here in this regional.
2-2.
The other key is McCarthy has to keep her foot in the box. She's had a couple times where she's worked her way on with what looks like a hit, and then she's called out because that back foot is out of the chalk line.
Good patience at the plate by McCarthy. Meanwhile, Winters behind the dish wants to know where it missed.
I think it's just outside a little bit.
Payoff pitch. Back up the middle. Hurd with the toss. Jory Hurd now 8+ innings this weekend. No walks, no runs, 1 hit, 6 strikeouts. I mean, the 1-2 punch of Gress and Hurd is awfully tough for opposing hitters right now. Back to the top of the order, Lauren Brock.
You have a 1-2, let's just call it a two-headed dragon, like Gress and Hurd, and they offset each other almost completely. You have Gress throws mid-60s, mainly arm side, utilizes a changeup a ton. You have Hurd throws mainly glove side, but now we're talking upper 60s, not necessarily a ton of off speed, but enough that you have to respect it. So you can just offer a completely different look mid-game against an opposing team.
Chopped over to second, Shelton. Ending season. Swing and a miss right there. The pinch hitter Audrey Wilson, freshman out of Fort Mill, South Carolina.
Comment though about trying to lessen the intent. She's talked about that a few times throughout this season, is when they have runners in scoring position, just trying to go for the single, not trying to go for the big hit and the long ball.
Yeah, Rhodey's been the big home run hitter, but besides her, a few small ball at times, or at least smaller than the home run ball that Rhodey's capable of, as Wilson fouls one off.
And even when we interviewed Rhodey, she talked about, I was just trying to hit the ball hard.
Yeah.
I think she said something about like 65 miles an hour plus. They're just trying to really barrel it up and let it go.
They just seem to be one of those teams, may not jump off the page when you look at them on paper, but they just know how to win.
You can tell there's belief 1 through 9 that any one person can be the one to step up and get it done. And that's been a theme here. While we talk a lot about Ariana Rhodey today, it's been Ella Chansey, Brooke Blankenship, Abigail Knight. And even yesterday, Brooke Blankenship, somebody that's not talked about offensively a lot, was in the mix as to a key for their scoring.
Ashley Chastain Woodard completely remaking this roster, bringing in 15 new players. And it has paid off so far, but there is called strike 3. So one of the new faces this year, Audrey Wilson, one away.
Well, the senior using her patented changeup, located low and outside. Nice spot, and absolutely freezes Wilson.
Back up to the top. Ball one to Quincy Lelio, who walked in the 3rd inning. Lelio won a few national championships under Patty Gasso at Oklahoma. Wasn't a full-time, everyday starter. And Patty Gasso said she completely understood Lelio wanting to go somewhere where she could play every day. Coach Gasso said, "I'm extremely happy for her, loved having her here, grateful for her loyalty to the program. Always hustled and worked hard." And quote, "I'm sorry it didn't work out." But definitely rooting for her when she's not facing her old team.
Well, so much talent that Lelio possesses, and you can't fault an athlete for wanting to find a place where they can be an everyday player. And it's interesting, each player and each athlete is motivated differently, you know, even in professional leagues. We talk about it, someone can transfer because they want to win, they want the ring, and then other times you have athletes that just want to go play, and now with NIL, that's going to be a whole different spectrum. Some will chase the NIL, while others, again, are going to look for different opportunities, different fits, different coaches that fit with their personality. All sorts of aspects lead to the shuffling of rosters.
Allison Benning coming over from Oregon. She has now thrown 298 pitches this weekend, behind 3-1 to Lelio. Full count all the way.
Really like watching this battery of Woods and Benning work. You can tell Woods has a good pulse on Benning. Calls time at some good opportunities to settle the senior down. And usually some obviously good words of wisdom, because Benning usually comes back around the zone, and execution is higher after those moments.
3 strikeouts, couple of walks, 2 unearned runs allowed, and 2 singles. Here's pitch number 301 of the regional for the senior. Lelio popped up. 2 away. Well, don't miss a minute of the action from the NCAA softball regionals on Championship Sunday. We'll take you to the best live action around the country on the 7 Innings live show on the ESPN app. Every game, every big moment on the road to the Women's College World Series, only on the ESPN networks. Well, look who's in the house. Bonnie and Eric Shelton, parents of Carly Shelton. Their other daughter, Kylie Shelton, was involved in another regional, playing for FAU. A busy family. Son Colby plays baseball for Florida as well.
Yeah, I heard the parents were split up for the regionals, and Kylie and Florida Atlantic eliminated yesterday. And they must be good luck, because Carly with a hit here.
Well, and if you missed it earlier this weekend, the family does hand out a championship belt to the top athlete in the family. So far today,
I wonder if that's like day to day, week to week,
hour to hour.
Fun fact, though, we talk about Carly led the SEC in doubles, and prior to regionals, Colby, her brother at Florida, also leading the SEC in doubles on the baseball side.
Carly over at first base now wearing number 33. That is the number her mom wore. And she was known as Bonnie Bell, pitching for Charlotte. Dad played baseball for Charlotte.
There you see, it just runs in the family.
Up that belt. This one cranked into the gap in right center off the bat of Roney. Here comes Shelton rounding third.
prior to the last 2 innings, South Carolina was 2 for 11 with runners in scoring position. Here in the 4th and 5th, they are 3 for 4 with runners, or excuse me, 2 for 3 with runners in scoring position. And Ariana Rhodey doing what Ariana Rhodey does and driving in that 3rd run for South Carolina.
Yes, break out the belt. A 3-0 lead over North Florida, just like yesterday. And now South Carolina just over 2 innings away, and the fans can feel it. If they do hang on to win this one, they will host the Super Regional in this ballpark next weekend. It's the winner of the LA Regional.
I'm really curious which Shelton parent had to do the trip from Florida up to here and how that happened so quickly.
Draw straws. South Carolina, they just come up with timely hitting. They've done it all season long, even if they don't get a ton of runners on base. Just a clutch program this year.
I think the key is, too, what Chastain Woodard talked to us about. It's lowering the intent. The intent is to drive in the run. The intent is not to hit a home run. The intent is not to the theatrics that come with it. If that happens because you hit a ball hard, then you take it, but try not to press too much in these situations.
Oh, Lexi Winters. I mean, I tell you what, off the bat, the fans stood up. It sounded good, just missed out. And again, the wind blowing out to left. Nearly left the yard. She's got 5 homers on the season.
When you talk about timely hitting, 2 outs here in the 4th and 5th is when South Carolina has done their scoring.
They're 4 for 9 today with 2 outs. Hey there. Got a souvenir. Great crowds this weekend in Beckham Field, hosting their first regional in 7 years. This one to left center. That's going to drop in, make it a 4-0 South Carolina lead here in the regional final. Lexi Winters joining in on the hit parade.
Well, this is an off-speed pitch, and just off the bat of Winters, and she's able to pull that enough right into center field in front of McCarthy, but pinch runner Lackey was on the move with 2 outs, so no play at home.
All 4 runs have scored with 2 outs today for South Carolina. Well, Ashley Chastain Woodard wasn't lying when she said we are so good at home this year. 33-5 and getting closer and closer to having a few more games in this ballpark next weekend. Macy Humolt warming up, freshman, in case she is needed. Allison Benning has fought hard this entire weekend. Jeff Conrad looks on as his team now down by 4 in the 5th. Ball 1 to Ella Chansey, who reached on that 2-out error in the 4th inning and later came around to score the first run of the game.
An opportunity here for Allison Benning to regroup. Start looking like she's overthrowing a little bit, trying to do too much. Will the 3rd out, so to speak.
They capped the last 2 innings against her. Remember, this South Carolina team didn't have a hit in the first 3 innings. Since then, 5 hits, 4 runs, and looking for more. The fourth straight batter has now reached against Benning.
And all four have reached after 2 outs. The strikeout of Wilson, an easy fly ball from Lelio, and then Shelton, Rhodey, Winters, and Chansey just really taking it to him.
The emotions tell the story for Allison Benning. What a career. One of the best two-way players in the game. Leaving the diamond for maybe the final weekend.
Well, we saw come in for an inning last night and shut down Virginia. Back in here after Benning.
It was nice to see a moment ago before we went to break. The entire stadium here in Columbia stood up and gave a round of applause for the opposing pitcher, Allison Benning, when she left the game.
Yeah, you saw Amber Pfizer go out there to take her out. And you expected to see North Florida celebrate Allison Benning, but really cool to see Gamecock fans give the senior her due as well.
Count 2-1 to Brooke Blankenship. The last 4 batters have reached in this inning. And South Carolina now really with the chance to break it open. Ashley Chastain Woodard's offense coming alive over the last 2 innings for 5 hits and 4 runs. Swing and a miss. Full count on the way to Blankenship. This one sent to right field. That will drop in and drive in the 3rd run of the inning for South Carolina as they extend their lead.
Well, to Coach Chastain's point, she wanted them to quit trying to lift the ball and try to hit more line drives, ground balls, and right now they are just depositing line drives into the outfield left and right. It's a backdoor curve over the plate a little bit, and Brooke Blankenship drives that out to right field. No play for Chloe Culp.
Here comes Abigail Knight, the 6th-year senior with 2 on. And Blankenship will steal second, now 2 in scoring position.
South Carolina going to take advantage of as much as they can, so putting runners in scoring position. Interesting, though, that the Ospreys don't have a play for that 1st and 3rd.
Chansey at 3rd, Blankenship at 2nd. Knight at the plate, hitting .307 on the year. The couple of home runs. Another base hit in this inning. It continues. A 2nd run coming home, and it's 7-0 Gamecocks as Knight slides into 2nd.
Well, you can tell the Gamecocks hitting is contagious, and like we said, it's just line drive after line drive, not trying to do too much. A great job by Knight, again, pulling another ball into right field down that line. Chloe Culp getting a lot of work in over there today from the hits off the bottom of the lineup for Gamecocks.
5 hits, 5 runs in this inning, and the 2-out hitting has been off the charts today, producing all 7 runs in those situations as Emma Sellers fouls one off. Sellers had a 2-run single against the Ospreys yesterday.
Yesterday, Hunolt came in and worked relatively quick against Virginia. 3 straight outs.
Sellers to left field. Here comes Abigail Knight, and South Carolina wins it in 5. Congratulations, Gamecocks. You are headed to the Supers.
You see Ashley Chastain and staff celebrating. This is what they expected when they took over here at